This is the Weber Spirit E-425 liquid propane gas grill. What stood out to me from the very first cook was how quickly it gets to real searing heat, and how confidently it holds that heat when you drop cold food on the grates. It sits in that sweet spot of a mid-sized, 4-burner backyard grill. I see it as a great fit for someone who wants reliable high heat for steaks, steady control for indirect cooks like chicken or ribs, and enough surface area to feed a family and a couple of guests without taking over the entire patio. It is not a showpiece with flashy extras. It is a workhorse that rewards repetition and good technique. The design choices that matter day to day are thoughtful. The lid is porcelain enameled, glossy, and has a dense, smooth lift that makes opening and closing feel controlled instead of clangy. The cooking box is cast aluminum, which does not rust, and it holds heat predictably. The side tables are solid and do not wobble when I set down a heavy platter or a cast iron pan. The control knobs have a firm, precise turn with clear detents. The cart looks enclosed from the front and hides the propane tank for a clean silhouette, but the back is open, which I will come back to. The grates are porcelain enameled cast iron, and they are heavy enough to store heat and lay down a proper crust while still being easy to clean. Up top, there is a warming rack that actually helps. I use it for buns, finished vegetables, or just parking food for a minute while the main grates stay busy. Along the right side, the accessory rails that Weber calls its modular rail system are genuinely helpful. I clipped on extra tool hooks and a small bin, and it kept my tongs and towel in reach without crowding the table. Setup took me a steady couple of hours on my own. The parts lined up, the instructions made sense once I followed them step by step, and the gas routing was clear. The hardware bag was organized in a way that did not make me chase down fasteners. When I rolled it into place, I noticed the wheels are fine on smooth concrete but ask for a little extra tug on uneven pavers. Not a deal breaker, just something I felt in the handle. Ignition has been rock solid. It is a press and turn snap-jet style, and I consistently get a clean whoosh on the first try without having to mash the button. The lid thermometer reads the dome air, which is helpful for quick glances, but like most dome gauges, it does not match grate level exactly. For anything that needs precision, I use a digital probe clipped near the food. Heat up speed matters more than any spec on paper. With the lid down and all burners on high, I watched the needle blow past 500 degrees Fahrenheit in roughly 10 to 12 minutes. That is the start of real searing territory. This model has a Sear Zone in the middle with 2 red labeled knobs that act like boosters. When I light those along with the adjacent main burner and let the grate saturate, I get a focused strip of intense heat that behaves like a steakhouse burner. It feels roughly a notch stronger than the rest of the grill, not a gimmick, just extra fire where you need it. Heat distribution across the width is better than I expected. Because the burners run front to back, it is easy to build zones. I usually run the left pair at medium for direct cooking, and keep the right pair a little lower for finishing, melting, or parking food that is already there. Recovery after opening the lid is quick. When I baste or flip, the temperature rebound is fast enough that I do not lose momentum and start steaming the food. That recovery is exactly where the Sear Zone earns its keep. Real cooks tell the story. Steak night is where this grill won me over. I let it preheat until the grates are almost glowing hot. I oil and season the steaks, pat them dry, and lay them across the Sear Zone. The hiss is immediate. The crust sets quickly without sticking, and when I flip, the grill does not choke on the cold meat. It powers through and keeps the browning going. I get that deep, savory crust you want from a gas grill without having to fight flare-ups. The flavorizer bars do their job, catching drippings, vaporizing some for a kiss of smoke, and moving the rest toward the grease tray. Burgers spread across 2 burners at medium turn out evenly with minimal fuss. I love that I can slide finished patties to the cooler side and melt cheese without burning the edges. For a whole chicken, I turn off the 2 middle burners and run the outer ones low to medium. That setup turns the grill into a small hot air oven. The chicken roasts with indirect heat, the skin renders, and I do not have to babysit hot spots. A pan under the bird catches drippings and keeps the interior cleaner. Ribs at around 250 degrees Fahrenheit are very doable once you learn the knob positions that hold steady in your climate. I track grate level temperature with a digital probe, and the lid gauge becomes more of a reference point. Vegetables in a grill basket over medium heat pick up color without collapsing. A pizza stone with the Sear Zone cranked adds enough top and bottom heat to give me a crisp crust and decent browning on the toppings. On the usability side, the little touches add up. The knobs turn smoothly enough that small adjustments actually produce small changes in flame. I never feel like I am hunting for the right angle. The lid has a reassuring weight, so it does not slam, and it helps the grill retain heat between flips. The side tables are tough and scratch-resistant. I use one as a staging area with a cutting board, and it does not sag. The tool hooks mean I am not balancing tongs on the edge of a plate. Cleaning is straightforward. After each cook, I brush the grates while they are still warm and wipe them with a lightly oiled towel. Because the grates are porcelain enameled, they do not need heavy seasoning like raw cast iron, but they do appreciate a thin film of oil to stay slick. The flavorizer bars shield the burners and direct grease toward a disposable drip tray that slides out from the front. Swapping the liner is fast. I take a minute every few cooks to scrape the inside down toward the tray so grease does not cake up in the corners. There are a couple of quirks you should know. The back of the cart is open. On a windy, rainy day, water can blow inside and collect in the grease tray, which turns clean up into a messy soup. A fitted cover solved that for me, and I also parked the back away from the prevailing wind. The wheels are fine on smooth patios but not great on uneven stone. If you move your grill a lot across rough surfaces, you will feel it. The dome thermometer, as I mentioned, is more of a ballpark number than a precision instrument. None of those issues overshadow how well it cooks, but they are worth calling out. One specific use case that keeps coming up for me is the weeknight steak and sides routine. I preheat with everything on high for about 10 minutes. I drop the steaks in the Sear Zone and let them go for a couple of minutes per side until that crust sets. I slide them to the cooler side to finish to temperature while I toss asparagus in a basket over medium. Buns go on the warming rack for a minute. I close the lid, watch the probe, and pull everything hot at once. It feels efficient, and the results are consistent. There are a few smart touches that genuinely improve the experience. The snap jet ignition has been reliable, which means I am not standing there clicking and hoping. The porcelain enameled cast iron grates balance heat retention with easy cleanup. The flavorizer system protects the burners while adding that little smoky note. The accessory rails let me keep tools and small add-ons attached without cluttering the side tables. And the cast aluminum cook box is the quiet hero of longevity. It does not rust, it does not peel, and it keeps the hot zone durable. Durability and maintenance matter over a few seasons. The materials in the hot areas are right for long-term use. The enamel resists rust and wipes down clean. The flavorizer bars will wear out over time, as they do on every gas grill, but replacements are easy to find, and swapping them is simple. Burners are accessible if you ever need to replace them. That is the kind of long view I appreciate. I want a grill that cooks well now and is serviceable later. Stepping back, what you are getting here is a compact footprint that still feels like a real 4-burner grill, a focused sear zone that actually delivers, fast preheat, and solid heat distribution that makes zone cooking simple. If you live somewhere that gets sideways rain, plan on a cover and think about orientation. If your patio is rough stone, know that the wheels are not all terrain. If you care about precise temperatures on long cooks, add a digital probe thermometer and treat the dome gauge as a quick glance. With those expectations set, this grill rewards you with reliable, repeatable results and an easy day-to-day routine. If you are looking for a mid-sized propane grill that hits hard enough to sear steaks, holds steady for indirect cooks, and keeps cleanup straightforward, the Weber Spirit E-425 has been a dependable part of my week. It is the black 4-burner I would keep on a medium patio and fire up multiple times without hesitation. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel and drop your questions or your own experience in the comments. Thank you for watching.